The planet Ruma was a world of many interesting storylines woven together across multiple continents. None quite as interesting as the main continent of Skyla. Divided into two parts, both Mecha and Magia had become fascinating to me as the one who lit the spark that created them. Nemea, the lion goddess, was the first living thing I created on Ruma, and I bestowed upon her the greatest responsibility, creating those who would inhabit this world. Rumans are fascinating creatures, though similar to humans on Earth, or Fenins from Fenrir. Their lives have become dictated by what is happening around them, rather than their own decisions. Free will is still theirs by all means, yet the powers at play here are so strong that it makes it nearly impossible to forge your own path. This was not by design, nor do I consider it a fault in my original blueprints. The evolution of Ruma is far beyond anything I have ever seen. Nemea and her sister goddess Echidna, as well as their brothers Tero the imp and Sero the crocodile, should all stand alone as the ones able to set the stage for the Rumans to live their everyday lives. These should be the ones determining the future of the planet, and providing space for Rumans to have free will. But the way in which the Rumans have changed due to the gods and goddesses' blessings, this has changed everything. So much so that 3 of those 4 gods and goddesses have since abandoned the Rumans completely in favor of new lands and new people. Saying that Rumans have not utilized free will or made their own decisions is actually not entirely true. Those calling the shots and fighting for the future of Ruma are technically Rumans, but it is 2 very specific Rumans who have amassed powers beyond even my wildest imaginations. Claudius, the Emperor of Magia, was blessed with some of the strongest magical powers on Ruma. As for Mecha's ruler, Sybil, she has transcended to a state far more powerful than the gods and goddesses I made on this planet. In the aftermath of Sybil's ascension to godhood, Nemea and Echidna left Skyla in pursuit of new lands to create and breathe life into. Meanwhile, Tero found a new home and created a new race of Rumans called the Mori in the waters below. Sero remained to act as advisor to the ruler of Magia and help fight back against the monster they had created in Mecha. This all culminated into the current struggle between Mecha and Magia, a struggle that could be the very last between the two, and bring forth a new era on Skyla, one ruled dominantly by only one side. Sybil has come for Magia, something that the Magians always feared would happen, but felt they were prepared to handle prior to Sybil's arrival. They underestimated just how much the cyborg goddess had evolved over time, and the results are devastating. Claudius battles Sybil in his villa, and the rest of Magia crumbles around the Rumans living there. Sai rushes to safety to try to communicate with some Magians secretly sent into Mecha territory, and a young fairy named Claire awakes from another vision. Let us see now how this all plays out. Despite the chaos erupting in the Empire of Magia, Claire woke up in the room that Egeria and Sai left her in to practice honing her abilities. She had a vision, but parts of it were foggy to her. She knew it involved Claudius, but the rest was hazy. She felt a presence while experiencing the vision that she could only assume was Sybil. Like the cyborg goddess was somehow scrambling her thoughts. She got up and flew out of the room quickly, immediately coming in contact with the aforementioned chaos. Magians and Glivolu alike were running around unsure of what to do or where to go. If Magia fell, then there were no other options, and those put in charge to lead the Magians were nowhere to be found. Neron was at the Makara gate along with Luna, and unbeknownst to Claire, already defeated. Claudius was at the Empire, which Claire had noticed was spewing smoke in the distance. The head of the Magian Council, Sai, was missing as well, so Claire had no choice but to find Daimar, who was the head of the Glivolu Council. She flew around the forests of the Glivolu people looking for a sign of where he could be, when she noticed many Glivolu starting to funnel into one area. Using her size and her ability to fly, Claire snuck ahead of the line where she found Daimar escorting Glivolu and Magians into a tunnel she had never seen before. Tamar, she shouted. What can I do to help? Claire, we are on our own here. Not sure where Sai went, and Egeria went to warn and aid Claudius. We must lead all of the Glavolu and Magians into this tunnel. It is an early trade route established to lead us to the Mori people. If Darrow is able to help us get off the continent, then he is our only hope. Claire nodded in agreement and helped Daymar in any way she could. Meanwhile, under the villa where Claudius was battling Sybil, Sai made his way through the sewers in search of guidance from the oracles. If Delavue and Z were still alive in Mecca and could do something to help sway this fight in their favor, he needed to know. However, the moment he arrived at the place that he would often meet with the oracles, he saw them all strewn about. All of them were dead, and their blood ran down into the waters surrounding the sewers. Impossible, Sai muttered out loud, assuming no one was left to hear him, for from the room he would often meet with the oracle Ayla came Sybil. How are you here? Aren't you fighting Claudius? I am. The response came from a second Sybil behind Sai. He quickly turned around to face her. Have you figured it out yet, Sai? How one-sided this little war of yours has become?